Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. My name is Franklin from Couples Talk. Now on today's video, I want to quickly share with you 5 things you must avoid to maintain peace in your marriage. Now why I want to share these thoughts with us is because when it comes to marriage is a work in progress. A lot of times people expect that the very moment they get married, everything should become rosy, but that's not true. The truth is that the very moment you get married, from the very beginning, you started a project, and that project can only get better if you put in the work. Sadly, quite a lot of people, what happens is that, and this is very important, because they do not understand the concept of marriage, because they do not understand what is expected of them, they end up coming up with several characters, several attitudes that puts their marriage in danger. So on today's video, I just want to quickly talk about few things that you should avoid if you're going to have peace in your marriage. The first one is assumption. A lot of times, assumption begins to creep into the heart of couples. One partner begins to think that, okay, the other partner is acting in a certain way, or the other partner is cheating, or the other partner does not love him or her. These assumptions, as simple as they may seem, they go a very long way to destroy marriages. And so it is something that you've got to avoid. Avoid assumptions at every cost. I know quite all right that there are some partners who do not seem to act right, but one of the first things you should do is to give the person the benefit of doubt. Until and unless you catch that person red-handed, it is always better you do not assume, because assumption is to go a very long way to create problems. In the first place, assumption will make you change towards your spouse, and you will not even know when you have changed. See that now? Before you know what is happening, you're speaking to your spouse in a certain way, you speak rudely, you don't respond the way you ought to respond, you just keep snapping at everything your spouse is saying or doing. Whatever he or she is doing, in most cases, it begins to irritate you. And that's because you're already treading on the path of assumption. And this is not supposed to be. This is something that you've got to work on. Avoid assumption, okay? Avoid assumption. The next thing that you've got to avoid is suspicion. This, in a way, it's close to assumption, but suspicion is a little different, because this is when you are suspecting your spouse of something wrong. You see that now? And this happens a lot of times in the area of unfaithfulness. Do not be quick to suspect. I know that a whole lot of things are happening out there, but the question is, do you want peace in your home? How much do you want peace in your home? If you truly want peace in your home, then you've got to take it upon yourself to set aside the suspicion and just give your spouse the benefit of doubt. It's so important you do this. Now, the next thing that you've got to avoid is over possessiveness. There are some spouses today who are too possessive to the point that when they see their man with any young lady, they feel something is happening. And some guys, when they see their wife with any young man, or their spouse is spending so much time on the phone with the opposite sex, they begin to get uncomfortable because they are so possessive. There are partners today who are so possessive to the point that they don't want to let their spouse out of their sight. Whenever their spouse are not with them, they somehow feel that their spouse is doing something wrong somewhere. It shouldn't be that way. Allow your partner to breathe. And this is very common with young men. Allow your partner to breathe. And also young ladies, allow your partner to breathe. You get the point now? Like I said earlier, I know that, a whole lot is going on in the world today. And every day we keep seeing, unfaithfulness happening over and over again. It is really a sad situation. But the truth is that being too possessive can even drive your partner away. And that's something you don't want. So I want to encourage you to do everything you can to avoid, just to make peace reign in your home. You get the point now? Now, another thing that you need to work on, which you need to avoid, is gossip. See, gossip in your marriage should be forbidden. Do not gossip your spouse. Do not gossip your marriage. I've actually taken out time to write a whole lot about this in my book, Marriage Made Easy. If you haven't gotten that book, I want to encourage you to go and get that book. It's showing on your screen now. I'll put a link to get the book. It's a 14 days devotional. It will help you a great deal. I spoke a lot about that. Avoid gossip. There are lots of people today, what they love to do, they love to gossip their marriage, to gossip about their spouse, what is going on in their home. It shouldn't be that way. Whatever it is that is going on in your marriage should stay between you and your husband. At most, someone you trust in your family. And even at that, there's a limit to which you talk about. When it comes to friends, avoid saying anything about your marriage. You've got to understand that this is your life. This is your family. This is your immediate family. Nobody should know what is happening in your home. But the unfortunate thing is that is not the case today. We have a lot of young ladies, they are experts in talking about their husband. In most cases, they try to brag about their husband. In most cases, they speak ill of their husband, they speak ill of their spouse, they speak ill of their home. Say no to gossip. It will preserve your marriage. I'm telling you, it will preserve your marriage. The reason is because when you begin to open up to other people and you are painting your marriage in the wrong way, it shows that you don't value your marriage. It shows that you don't value your spouse. And that's the truth. It shows that you've got no value. And in most cases, when you are painting your spouse and your marriage in the wrong way, the people you are painting this picture to, they will have no regards for your husband or your wife. They will have no regards for your marriage. When you talk about your marriage, they just, toss it aside because before them, you have scattered your marriage. You've got no regards, no respect. It shouldn't be that way. Avoid anything that will make you gossip your spouse. Okay, so that's something that you really need to work on. You get the point now. The only gossip that is allowed is the gossip between you and your spouse, not against your spouse. It should be between you and your spouse. And even that one has to be constructive. Do not sit down together and begin to destroy other people. It shouldn't be that way. So which means there should be zero gossip in your marriage. And then the next thing you've got to avoid if you want peace to reign in your home, stop thinking about yourself alone. Most of the time, it is easy to enter into that place where you think that your marriage is just only about you. Never forget that you are in this with someone. Your perspective, you've got to understand, it may not always be in synchrony. You get the point now? So never forget, stop thinking about yourself alone. You want peace in your marriage? Think about your spouse. From time to time, put them into consideration. If I do this, how will they feel? What will become of them? A lot of times I've discovered that couples today, they don't put each other into consideration. This one wants to do things the way he likes. They want to do things the way she likes. It shouldn't be that way. Put your spouse into consideration. Put your children into consideration. Do not act selfish. I'm going to be doing a video on signs that shows that you have allowed selfishness in your marriage. I'll do that video. You get the point now. So do not be selfish. Stop thinking about yourself, and peace will reign. There are many homes today. The only reason things are turning upside down in those homes is because of the selfishness of one partner. One partner has gone in a separate way, in a different way, and that partner is not considering the marriage, it's not considering the wife or the husband, it's not considering the children, and at the end of the day, what happens? The marriage can't go far. So this is something that you need to avoid. Stop thinking about yourself alone. You heard me right, okay? So this is something that you truly need to work on. And finally, something that you have to avoid unnecessary arguments. There are arguments that they add no value to your life. They add no value to your marriage. I've seen cases where, unnecessary arguments led to domestic violence. And this is not how it's supposed to be. This is not a way forward at all. I want to encourage you. You're hearing the sound of my voice today. I want to encourage you. Avoid unnecessary arguments. Whenever you see that a particular issue is getting to a place where it could lead to insults or to abuse, avoid it. It's not a competition. You must not always win. You must not always be right. There are times when you may be right and your spouse is not right, and your spouse is acting as though he or she is right. What should you do? Let the matter be. Let the matter be. Always put the peace of your marriage above all else. You will do this, your life will not remain the same. So tell me what you think about today's video. What do you think? Which of the points resonated with you? Let me know in the comment box. Okay, let me know in the comment box, and I'll be glad to revert back to you. Now, if you have gotten value from this video, click the thumbs up, and don't forget to share with your friends and family. Those of them who needs to hear this, share it with them. It will go a very long way to help them. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so. Do not leave this video without subscribing. Subscribe and click on the notification bell so that the next time I post a new video, you will be the first to receive that video. All right, I will talk to you in the next video. Until then, God bless you.